We tried to do this at the conclusion of the Thanksgiving exempt tournament every year, just kind of an update on where we are with our program, our team, and then obviously give you an opportunity as well as others here to ask any questions. Since we obviously talked last, Michael, we played in the Cayman's Classic. I thought it was long-term, I think it'll be really good for us. I thought the competition was great, certainly when we signed up for it, and it didn't disappoint. I thought when I look back at the 3 games, I think about the Drake game, obviously is the most recent one, where we played a really good team. I didn't think our effort and toughness was as good as theirs, quite frankly. And then I thought our execution wasn't very good either, and thus we got the outcome that we did and got what we deserved. We've had a chance, obviously, to look at the film a lot here as we've gotten back and try to clean some of those things up. Good teams expose you. So, I think for us it's an opportunity to learn. The second game we played was against Utah State, and I feel like that was one. Certainly no disrespect to Danny and the great job he's done at Utah State. And they're a really good team. They ended up winning it. But I thought we let one get away watching it. Give them credit for making some plays. But I thought our mistakes defensively late in the game put us and took us out of a position to have a chance to win it. I thought our offense was really good late in the game. When we were right there, a play or two away. And the margin for error is so small. I've used examples with our guys here since we've been back of the Ohio State-Michigan football game, as well as some other basketball games that come down to a possession or two, or a turnover differential being 2-0, or rushing yards being 150-plus to 100-plus, or penalties being 3 in totality for one team, 1 for another. And I know that doesn't sound like much of a gap, but it is. Little things matter. So I think that's kind of what we learned from that one. And then, the first one, I thought our preparation leading into Florida International was really good. It's interesting. They play such a chaotic style. They press you for 40 minutes. It's really unique. It reminded me a lot of, in fact, the assistant at VCU was Jeremy Ballard, who's now the head coach at Florida International. So when Shaka was there playing 40 minutes of havoc, that's where he probably learned a lot of this from. And it was super chaotic. It's interesting as a coach when you play against that, there's not a whole lot you can control. You got to trust your players' judgment to make decisions. It's not about plays in that type of game, Michael. It's about players making decisions and making plays. I thought we struggled early and then just had great poise because we got hit in the mouth the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, but never buckled, showed great poise, and I think our preparation ultimately shined through in the outcome. Thought we prepared well, and then I thought guys made big plays, especially our older guys, in the last 4 minutes of the game to secure that one. So, that's kind of how I feel about the 3 games. Where are we at heading into Vegas? I think I hope we're better. My biggest concern is having enough mental, physical, and emotional juice going on the road. Last year we played Marshall on the road after coming back from the Caymans and had one of our most lackluster performances. We just didn't have it. So tried to manage that as well the last few days to make sure we've got juice in the tank. 7 days in between will help a little bit. But you're always worried as a coach about the 3 games in 3 days and what type of toll that takes, although we're, playing quite a few guys. Freeman's the one guy consistently playing over 30 minutes, so I worry about him a little bit. So we tried to manage his output in practice over the last 2 to 3 days. So lastly, the other thing that's changed, obviously, from the last time we spoke is the decision that was made by the NCAA on Ali. At the appeal level, the mental health waiver was denied. As I said in a tweet that we sent out, we tried to go through the process in a very respectful and professional manner. I think they feel that way. We recognize, obviously, that mental illness is real. It's documented. 1 in 5 adults experience mental illness. So we know it's real. The NCAA has well documented the fact that they know it's real and that they have a concern over mental health. Our university, from our administration all the way down, equally concerned about mental health, not only with just student athletes, but students in general, because we know it's real. I think about even my son, who's 17, and what they have to tackle nowadays that I didn't when I was his age, from social media to all the different avenues that, are available technologically now that weren't available then, and how that affects, all of us. So we recognize that. At the end of the day, we still feel like it was the wrong decision. As we continue to work through the process moving forward, I think it was well documented, and we shared evidence that confirmed, that Ali's had some mental health, struggles and illness. Obviously starting with the 2 severe concussions at Butler last year that really brought it on. We felt like it was well documented, not just by Ali or Butler or Akron, but by medical health professionals and experts. I think all of us feel like, certainly Ali, his family, Butler, Akron, staff, support staff, coaches, teammates, students that go to school here. We have a situation that's unique because he's returned. So the president's the same, the AD's the same, the academic coordinator's the same, the head coach is the same, the assistant coaches who recruited him are the same. There's a lot of familiar faces and comfortability in an environment where he succeeded academically, mentally, emotionally, athletically. There's certainly a comfort level there. And we feel beyond the shadow of a doubt, all those people, Ali, his family, Butler, Akron, medical health experts and professionals, that clearly points to Akron being the best place for his mental health. Part of that mental health, obviously, is being able to play. And when you have 2 severe concussions like he did last year, he missed the first 11 games. And due to the second concussion, missed additional games. And now he's set out 6 already to start this year. And that's certainly not helping his mental health. It's not. I think it's a factor that definitely should be considered. But we're going to continue to work with them in a professional and respectful manner as we move forward. But obviously we're disappointed in the decision at the appeal level. I'll answer any questions that anyone has. Starting with you, Michael, since you had the Zoom and Microsoft Teams issues due to us.
You talk about Ali and the mental health aspect with the concussions and whatnot. Did he have any concussion issues or health issues at Akron? And then what are the mental health, documented reasons that was presented to the U.S. or to the NCAA that was then denied?
Yeah, I'm going to stop at the extent in terms of getting into specifics other than the 2 concussions. But it was well documented by medical experts and professionals that's what they do. The mental illness and the mental struggle that was involved. Obviously, the 2 concussions were a big part of that. To answer the first part of your question, the answer is no. He didn't have any of those issues during his attendance here at the University of Akron.
Okay. And as far as just I know he's been with the team, he's at the games, he's on the bench. Just what's been his mood prior to this decision by the NCAA and his mood now after this decision was made?
Emotional.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not easy, right? It's hard. So he's got a good support system here. We'll continue to support him. But he needs to be out there playing.
Has the appeal been presented to the NCAA? And do you have any idea on what their timetable of?
Yeah, it's been denied. It's been denied at the appeal level.
Okay, so what do you guys do from here?
Well, we're working together to figure out what the next steps are as we continue to work through the process of trying to help them. And we'll obviously continue to communicate with the NCAA as we move forward.
Okay. Is he traveling with the team to Vegas?
He is. Yeah, he's allowed to travel, has been traveling, and will travel with us to Vegas.
Aside from Ali, Enrique Freeman has been the MAC Player of the Week twice, and you've only played 6 games. What can you say about how he's been able to perform as a senior, as a leader, as a top player on this team?
He's a stud. I mean, he's one of the best players in the country. So he's got things he's got to work on. I talk all the time, Michael. I've mentioned to you his humility. So I sent him a text with 7 things I needed him to clean up for him to play better and for consequently us to play better. His response, Coach, thank you. All I want to do is get better. I'm going to work really hard to get these things cleaned up. I mean, I think about that now. That guy's 2-time MAC Player of the Week already. So his disposition, his humility is what makes him very unique. I asked him for permission to read that text to the team because I told him, you'll see where I'm going with this. I wanted to then send text to everybody else about what they needed to get cleaned up. And if the 2-time MAC Player of the Week can have that disposition, then the other 14 guys can too about what they need to get cleaned up so that we can play better. What else, Michael?
Did Joe want to ask? I didn't want to.
Joe, question?
Yeah, obviously the decision of Ali has affected him. How has that affected the rest of the team, anticipating Ali's going to be with them, and now they got to sit and watch him love basketball, not able to play?
So Joe's question is, how's it affecting the rest of the team, the decision on Ali? It affects them. I think our guys, everything's so visible now, right? So they know the ins and outs of Ali's situation because all those guys are so close. They're tight. They were tight when he was here the first time. They were tight when he was away, and they're tight now. I mean, they're just close. He's got relationships with those guys. They have a relationship with him. They care about him. He cares about them. It's very obvious. Just be around the team. You figure that out pretty quickly. I think the other part of it, too, is they look, how players are. We always talk about comparison being the thief of joy, but that's natural, right? So they look on Twitter and they see the national landscape of what's going on right now and who's getting what, and they're talking about it as it relates to Ali. They know. So I think it's challenging, but they've handled it pretty well. We've always had a next play mentality, next man up mentality, and so that's the way we've operated, whether a guy's been out for a game or whatnot. So they've, embraced that because that's part of our culture. But, they feel his pain.
You built this schedule knowing or thinking you were going to have Ali. How much have you had to readjust without Ali?
Quite a bit. Yeah, the question was how much have we had to readjust. Obviously, we built the schedule, built our team around the fact that, he was going to be out there. You do. You have to adjust. I'm not going to sit here and say we haven't. That would be untruthful. So we have. We've had to adjust. It's challenging, but, we feel like those challenges are what make us better.
When you look, John, there was a wide receiver that transferred from Kent State to North Carolina. He sat, I think, half the season, was denied. Then he was accepted. He played ball. Aziz, obviously familiar with him. He transfers from Utah Valley to Cincinnati, denied, eventually was accepted, can play. Do you have any idea as far as will the NCAA consider those cases and others? And, it's kind of like a cloud that hangs over the team, so to speak, but just do you have any thoughts on how some people are eligible to play and some are not?
Yeah. No, I have some for sure, but, I'm going to leave my previous comments as my comments for today. What I will tell you that's different about his is A to B to A. And so we've talked about the mental health being real, and certainly that's very important. Right? Most important is their health, their mental health. But academics is important here too. Graduation's important. So the fact that he went A to B to A, he's put himself in a great position now to finish his credit hours this fall semester and then be in position with 6 credit hours in the spring semester to have a degree. And sometimes what happens, Michael, when guys transfer from school to school, in fact, not sometimes, most of the time, a lot of those credits, they lose a lot of credits. Not all of them are articulated. In this case, obviously we think this is the best environment for him mental health-wise, as I alluded to earlier. But it also happens simultaneously to be the best environment for him to earn his degree and be a college graduate, which we think is also important. Mental health being number one for sure, right? Your health's important. But, graduating and earning your degree, I think it's kind of, you look at the NCAA, you look at universities and colleges, I think it's something that, we take a lot of pride in here. We want our guys to graduate, be on progress towards degree. I know the NCAA and universities and colleges feel the same way. If you said, hey, do you want your student athletes to graduate or not graduate, I think you're going to get 100% answer in one direction on that. They want them to graduate. So I think obviously that's a part of the fit as well.
And my final question would be, if he is not granted eligibility this season, he would retain full eligibility for next season, correct?
He would have that option, correct.
Okay.
What else? Anybody else? Chad, Joe, anything else?
I was going to say, you're one of the most positive people that I know. How optimistic are you that you'll get Ali back this season?
What I've tried to do, the question was, how optimistic are we that we'll get Ali back this season? I try to go one day at a time, honestly, just like the players, Joe. You know that. We say it. We try to live it out. Sometimes people hear it and they say, it's coach speak. The next game's the most important, or one day at a time. We try to live that out. We really do. And that starts with me. So I'm right now, our biggest concern, I think, is trying to help Ali and support Ali and do the right thing. And hopefully others will feel the same way, because we feel like clearly the right thing is for him to be here at Akron. I don't feel like there's a better place. I love the kid, Joe. You know that. I mean, if I look at it and I don't know if there's a better place maybe in the world, let alone domestically, if you combine mental health with graduation. I just don't know that one exists. And so, what I've tried to do is just take it one day at a time with him, with our team, and deal with whatever in front of us. I think part of, we tell our guys, and this is a Tim Kite, right? And I know Coach Meyer, Urban Meyer, used him a lot when he was the coach at Ohio State. And I read a lot from Tim and Brian's work. And they talk about events happening, and sometimes you can't control those, right? We like to think we can, especially as coaches, because we're all control freaks, right? We want to control everything. Our preparation, we do our best to control. But at the end of the day, I think as I've gotten older, there's just certain things you can't. So what you can control is your response. And if you control your response in the right way, that, I think, will lead you more often than not to a better outcome than if you allow the event to monopolize your thought processes, your emotions, your mood. And it took me a long time to figure that out. We're trying to translate that to our players so they can learn, at a younger age, how to respond to events that happen. Obviously we're disappointed. We're continuing to work through the process. We think it's wrong. We think the right thing for him is to be at Akron for the reasons we've talked about today. But we're just going to continue to, embrace what's in front of us and do the best that we can to respond the right way. Other questions? Appreciate everybody's time today. Okay. Bevins, you want to know if I'm going to be playing blackjack while I'm out there? The answer is no.
I would hope you're not going to gamble.
No. That's exactly right. All right. See you soon. Go Zips.